so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, today's going to be a wild one on FT Live. Scotty Braun, Erik Kratz, Jason Kipnis, Todd Father, and Nikki Cass holding down Toms River, New Jersey right now. What's going on, guys?
A little bit. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. I actually just did like a full workout before I came on here, but it was very unconventional. I'm down on the floor of the Aria in Vegas trying to find Jason Kipnis. I'm like, dude, regular hotel, lobby elevators. He's like, which tower? I'm like, there's only one tower. And I'm like, dude, it's 9:52. Like the show starts in 8 minutes. I'm like, you're at the Aria, right? He's like, no, MGM Grand, which is not where we're playing the poker tournament. So I'm like, all right. So Kip will join us soon. That's life. But wanted to say hello to the whole crowd and welcome in Nikki. And you can follow him at Nikki.Cass on IG, big ass YouTube channel too. So Nikki, tell obviously our audience what you're up to. And are you planning some trick shots with Todd Father down in the lab later?
They're always on the table. The trick shots are always on. I've yet to beat him. I beat him once, but ever since then, it's been kind of tough to make the hour-and-a-half drive to see him knowing I'm going to get my ass kicked. But, thanks for having me on. This is cool for me. I've been watching the show. You guys are fantastic. I want to give you your flowers. And it's pretty cool for me to grow up watching Todd, grow up watching Kipnis, and now to be sitting here on the show. It's a cool moment for me. But, Todd, you think about Todd is he talks so much shit. Every time we do the trick shots, and sometimes the camera's not even rolling. I'm like, Todd, yo, relax, man. No, it's my house, man. You got to understand, it's my house. But no, it's a blast. It really is. That's how it all started, really, to be honest with you.
Remember, it was on Jose Trevino, the catcher with the Yankees, hit him up, hit me and said, Frazier, I got a cameo coming.
Yeah.
And it was you talking smack on there.
So this is like, I've known Todd, almost 3 years now. Yeah. And this is like on the beginning portion of the whole journey that I've been on. And I get a DM one day from Jose Trevino. And no, it actually wasn't. It was a request from Jose Trevino. And he was like, I want you to do a cameo for Todd Frazier. And so I'm like, all right, well, that's bullshit. So then I found him and I DM'd him. I was like, was this you? And he's like, yeah. So I make a video and it's the middle of the summer and I'm like, yo, Todd, why don't you spend a little bit more time on the tee instead of going out to the links every day because your swing looks like shit. And he loved it. And we just sort of, remained in contact through there. And then, the trick shot thing happened and that was crazy. You couldn't make that up. It was
back
like
to back, man.
We knocked the ball over and then he did it right after. But I don't know. It's been fun. He's been the best. A good mentor to have along this journey because sometimes I walk around and I'm like, I don't know where the hell I'm going. But Todd's been there through it all. So
no, he's a beast, Scott. This guy knows his sports. He knows baseball. He played a little bit too. So
and I got it. I got a little bit.
He's got a good swing too, Scott.
I got a little bit of that.
That was my thing, Kratzy. I was like, wait, so some of those things don't take 10,000 takes? And you're there all weekend, all right, take
the one
380.
No, I think it took like 46 swings.
Yeah. Well, but the funny thing was, I was in school when this is going on. So I say, yo, I got like an hour and 15 before my next class. So I drove to Toms River. We recorded the clip. We had 45 minutes to nail it. And then I'd say 25 minutes in, I hit it. And then he hit it after. It was a magical moment. And then I was back in a marketing class an hour and a half later.
Hey, this is what he does.
It didn't make any sense.
Man. He was a go-getter. So
how old are you, Nikki?
22. I graduated last year from Montclair State. Jersey. That's, I think, where everyone thinks I'm from Jersey. I'm from New York, but I graduated from Montclair.
I mean, you're right over the border, so I don't know. We got to talk to Claudia about that.
Yeah, I graduated with a PhD in engineering.
Yeah. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm a marketing major.
Hey, so we're excited to have you on board here. Let's kick it around on some topics. Ken Rosenthal is going to join us in about 15 minutes. Freddy Peralta, fastball Freddy, but really full menu Freddy these days, joining us from the Brew Crew, and Corey Dickerson about an hour and 15 minutes from now will join us. Happy 10 years to him. We'll go over that coming up soon, the slugger for the Nationals. So Well, let's charge the damn mound, shall we? And we'll keep it New York centric to start for you, Todd, Father, and Nikki. We got the Mets and the Braves last night, and Kratz, why don't you kick it off because we've been hogging up all the time. I mean, first off, that game, because no bias here, that game was awesome. That game was nuts. It's Strider against Verlander, and it's 10-10.
I mean, what did you say the over was? You hit your under in like the third inning, Todd? Like
Yeah, I took the under. I took the under at 8.5, and third inning it was 6-3. I'm like, well, that was pretty good. Good start.
Hopefully you stayed around because that game was so Atlanta Braves and it was so New York Mets. You said it the other day, Todd. You're like, I don't know. Like I've seen it so many times. I've been a part of it. Like the way this is going, like I just don't see the Mets being able to pull this out somehow. And man, you think that's the night. Like you get to Strider, you're like, yeah, like we got the Strider, like this is good. We got Verlander, Turdlander doing his thing. Nope. It was back and forth, and then Darno hits Orlando Arcia ties it up against David Robertson, and that at bat was crazy. The pinch, the check swing, no. The 0-2 pitch was a strike, no. 3-2, bushes. Awesome. It was so awesome. And AJ was at the game.
He was.
Yeah,
he was at the game.
He had good seats too, man. You remember, Scotty? They had some really good seats there. So for
Game time.
Game time.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Listen, I said it from the get-go. I've been a part of this team. I understand what the heck happens. I know it doesn't matter. They were up 4-1. They were up 4-1 the next day. They're up 9-5 on the third game. That's the biggest problem they got. They don't finish the games. David Robertson came in and threw over 30 pitches for the first time in a long time. So for me, Nikki, I know you understand baseball, but when something's trending in that direction, you got to – for us, we're betting men. So it's like we got to understand what the trend is. But
so
you bet
the under?
I did. I screwed up.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad. Well, you could say that now.
But I see – I just dropped my phone. But I see the thought process behind it. And, well, you know what? I don't know if I would agree with taking the under, to be honest with you, if in the way that it was. And listen, I'm not coming on this show to dog you.
No,
I'm just saying.
You usually do. That's fine.
But
Don't Friday morning quarterback him, Nikki.
All I'm saying is, listen, if it was me, in a baseball game, I don't even mess with the over under because, like, for me, you never know. But it's all right, man. What'd you throw? $5 on that?
Are you a Yankee or Met fan?
A Yankee fan.
Right.
But I just like watching baseball. Like
of course.
I got WFAN playing. I'm sorry, the Foul Territory show playing 24/7.
Listen.
In the car all the time. But yeah, no, I just love baseball to death. It's just like if I'm at a Yankee game, I'll root for the Yankees. But if I'm like watching any other ball game, I don't care. I just want to see some good ball.
But the Mets, the struggles continue.
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
Yeah, I was watching the game when it should have been strike 3, and then the check swing. I thought he went. Yeah, you don't even see Buck Showalter get that upset. He was like, "Yo, dude, he went," and kind of walked away. The human element, man, it plays a part. Two pitches could have gone the other way, and it could have been game over.
Todd, what do you mean? You said, I see how it's trending. I've been there. I know how to like. Is it a clubhouse thing? Do you feel that when you're up in New York? Like, were you like, I don't know, man, like just something about this? Because that's problematic. If like, how many years ago was it that you played for the Mets?
Yeah, it's been 5 or 6 years.
Nikki was in high school at that point.
Wow.
Like,
I might have just walked in my freshman class.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, it is. It starts hitting in the clubhouse. Guys coming in a little somber after the game. No one's talking. It's tough, man. I don't know. Like what did AJ say earlier? The Mets are going to Met.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. You have your leaders in there, but how far can you go at the same time when you're losing these games? And you're not only losing games to the team. Well, yeah. The only problem is you're losing games. Now that's 3 games they lost on the number 1 team in the Atlanta Braves.
They needed at least
It went from 6.5, or it went from 5.5 to 8.5, if I recall. So
yeah, they're not catching them though.
Well, you say that. I don't know.
No way. No way.
He said you say that.
This is a wild card contender.
That's your opinion.
No chance. I know. So let me ask you this, and props to, first off, Orlando Arcia has been an absolute clutch stud out there for this team. He's like the new Dansby with the late clutch heroics. I will say Francisco Alvarez on the Mets side, Mets fans are shouting, if he's not in the lineup every damn day, a catcher or DH, I'm not watching this team anymore. And I agree with that. Like, enough tinkering with the lineup. Like, you've got a hot bat. He's been one of the top prospects the last few years. You got to play him. So Chipper Jones and John Smoltz and Glavine, all these guys were on the broadcast for the Braves last night messing around. This was the one that we took from Chipper last night that stood out. Let's run it.
The ACL injury, a little bit of an adjustment last year, but man, he has worked his tail off, and I've said it many times. I believe that this young man is the most talented player to ever don a Braves uniform.
Whoa. You okay, Nikki? What do you got there, man?
My mic keeps falling out, but we're good.
Your earpiece guy?
No, I'm really not, but it's all good.
He doesn't have the custom. We're gonna hook you up with the custom one day.
Yeah, no, next time I come on,
change
we'll
your life.
custom. But did he just say that was the best Braves player to ever put on?
I wanted to make sure that you caught that.
Braves uniform.
What?
Yeah. I mean, himself. I mean, he was a beast.
Wait a second. That was in the middle of a game?
Yeah, Chipper Jones said that about Acuna.
I mean, I don't think he's done nearly as much. Like, I don't think he's even like. Well, he's having a fantastic year.
Yeah, of course. But
it's a big statement.
But coming from him, Hall of
Even,
Famer.
yeah, that's crazy.
Listen, that's pretty good accomplishment to hear that. If I'm Acuna, man, I'm like, hey man, thanks a lot, but I still got some ways to go, big fella. But yes, there's been, I mean, man, I'm trying to go in my mind and think of who else. You know, you got your pitching staff, who they had. Chipper Jones. I mean, who can you guys think of that's been put on the Braves uniform? I mean,
Andrew Jones had a better career.
What's that?
Andrew Jones has had a better career even up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, how many years did Hank Aaron play for the Braves?
Like Chipper saying that was, I don't know, that was kind of, it was just a little too homery, too like, oh, I'm on the Braves network. Yeah, let's do everything Braves. Like, look, Acuna is awesome. He is awesome. And I hated on him at the beginning of the year because some of the guys from the Braves were talking about how he, like, last year, yeah, he was coming back from the ACL, but there was just no effort. He wasn't invested in the games. He wasn't doing – this year, he came back to form. So I believe it was his ACL. But to say I don't even think he said he could be the best. He said, I believe this young man is the most talented player to ever don a Braves uniform. Like, you got some serious history there, and I feel like that was a little – I don't know what the word is. There's some kind of word for when somebody hypes somebody up a little too much. Yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah, we said that.
Oh, that's what
Hank
I said.
Aaron.
That. Yeah, that's what I said.
Sorry, I was setting up.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
like,
I said. I said, how
Hank
about
Aaron, Fred
Hammer?
McGriff, Chipper, all
Andrew
those pitchers.
Jones.
Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
Smoltz,
Pitchers,
Glavine.
no. Pitchers aren't in there.
Okay, fine. Still, we came up with quite a few position players where it's like, not sure you should go out and say that. Whatever. I mean, they're having fun with it, but he's just wrong. That's all. You can't say that yet.
Yeah, you think he regretted saying that after he said it into the microphone?
No,
You think
I don't think he did.
No, they don't
Chipper
care.
Jones, bro. He don't.
Chipper,
No.
no, Chipper will be like, oh, yeah, my bad. I forgot about those guys.
Yeah, whoops.
If he didn't believe it. So.
Hey, look who it is.
Eddie, hey,
gentlemen.
who is it?
Kip, welcome.
Thank you.
You're I'm glad you found your Scott because he was looking for his Jason. So
It was a nice
Sprinting.
little panic in the morning.
I got some perspiration already under the armpits at
This is
9
not-
in the morning in Vegas.
this is not the first time Jason Kipnis hasn't been able to be found in Vegas. So just
And this early too. This is a double win.
Yeah.
you must have been golfing.
I was at a heater.
Off fade.
He's up and fresh right now. So Kip and me are here, by the way, because we're playing in a poker tournament tomorrow. We'll get into that later, but let's keep rolling because we got Ken joining us soon, and I want to get to Jose Ramirez, not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs as Cleveland absolutely smashed the Red Sox. And Jose Ramirez actually had never had a 3 home run game, which I was surprised. He had a bunch of 2s, but not a 3. So he's pretty good, Kratzy.
He is really good. He's a guy that I remember having a conversation with Luke Carlin and somebody else, Kipnis, the whole Cleveland Indian crew back then. I can call them the Cleveland Indians because that's who they were when I played for them.
General.
But it was, they were talking about Jose Ramirez coming up, and he signed that 9 years for $23 million deal, whatever he signed. And it was like, oh man, the organization just loves him so much because he's a great kid. And Luke Carlin was like, bro, this kid is ridiculous. He is a legit player, his bat to ball skills. And they were like, wow, is he going to hit better than Kipnis? He has hit a little bit better than you, Kip.
Just a touch.
It's awesome to watch. You can't get, his arms are negative length. His arms are they're like Todd's arms when he's trying to get his wallet out of his pocket. Short. You can't get a fastball inside there at all. And yesterday, his last homer was a breaking ball that he hit out. And, this guy, perennial MVP candidate on a team that he essentially carries every year.
Can I just say one thing, too, about Jose Ramirez?
Mm-hmm.
This guy is the most laid-back human being I saw him in spring training, and he was just on cloud nine. Nobody, a dog could shit on his cleats, and he's like, all right, I'll just wipe it off. He's so easygoing. What a fantastic human being, Jose Ramirez, from my experience. So
is that true?
Just thought I'd add that little.
He's just got the George Jefferson walk from side field to side field.
Oh my God.
But Kratzy, you're right. He out the gate in his career, he kind of started. I think he was trying to be something he wasn't. That maybe at the time Indians wanted him to be. I think he broke camp as the opening day shortstop. Struggled out the gate. I think he got sent down, and when he got sent down, he said, "You know what? I'm going to do it my way." And from that time, you were hinting on it. I've never seen a shorter swing. You cannot get a ball by him. I don't care how hard you throw. He's one of the most fastball efficient hitters in the entire league.
And he's super good at Mario Kart too. You ever face him in Mario Kart yet?
No. I pick and choose my battles a little wiser. I know.
Wait, on what? Nintendo 64? Or are we talking on Switch?
Oh, you weren't here, Kratz. I forgot because you're on almost every show. You've missed 1 or 2 shows and out of 200.
And we talk about Mario Kart. We talk about my college.
Oh,
college experience.
You've played on every team. I figured you knew it was in the clubhouse that there was a system in there.
And in Cleveland, you mean?
Yeah.
That's legit.
We had Stephen Kwan on yesterday, and I've known about this. There's been articles about Jose. I mean, he's a cheat code in Mario Kart. He knows how to flip his body out and fall into the next rainbow road.
He's got it
Come on,
down.
everybody
He's got the
knows
shortcuts down.
No, but he's apparently he's so damn good at his agility and his turns and all that. He'll purposely just put himself in last, rack up a lightning, get to first, hit the lightning, be like, all right, bye everyone. Maybe smash him as he laps him again.
Yep. E-turn. You E-turn around, so you're always getting boosts when you're coming around. Know how to, when you crash, you're getting let down, and you make sure you hit it at the right time and you launch out.
That's a pro move.
See, Nicky
Nicky
Koss.
Kratzy's proven it.
Nicky Koss has a degree. He doesn't know anything about Mario Kart like that because he got his degree.
Hey, whoa, hey, man, I got the degree. Okay, we don't know how I got the degree. Okay,
he's flying.
He looks like a more Dungeons and Dragons guy.
No, I messed around with Mario Kart, but you see what we had was. Did you guys have the wheel? No, this was on the Wii. It was different.
Yeah,
they gave us the wheel, so it's kind of a cheat
yeah.
code. My sister is insane at that game. Absolutely insane. Silent killer. She uses Toad, and she just cruises past everyone. It was demoralizing. I honestly, at 10 years old, demoralizing.
The only game I played was Sega Genesis.
I don't even
Madden
know what that is.
94. You only have 3 buttons to worry about, A, B, and C, and that's
know
it.
what
That's
that
all I
is.
did.
I don't even know what that shit is.
Just saying. Just putting it out
I don't
there.
even know what that shit is. No one knows. what
R.I.P.
the fuck you're
Sega.
talking about.
R.I.P. And here, let me get one more in there before Kenny.
Put it on Channel 3.
Exactly.
you had to.
Yes. Sonic's a legend. So Zach Wheeler yesterday was pretty damn good. You had a no-hitter going, broken up in the 8th inning. Then the Tigers actually tie it back up, Kratz. I want to give a little love to Philly because as bad as the Mets have looked, they've got their big streak going on right now, down 6 in a row. Philly sweep. They've won 5 in a row. Tigers are falling apart as expected at this point, but Phillies look good. And June, it's their month. They're doing like almost the exact trajectory that they had last year. And some of them are trying to like, you could tell, not jinx it and be like, it's different or whatever. But you're like, it's kind of looking like last year. You guys had a slow start on offense, but super talented roster. In comes June, in comes all of Schwarber's homers, and now the pitching's getting themselves together.
And Turner had that 4-for-4 game.
Mhm.
He hasn't obviously had another 4-for-4 or 3-for-3 game, but when you hear Danny Long say something like, "Hey, we unlocked this," whether it was from biomechanics or anything like that, and you talk about a star like Trey Turner, maybe one of the top 5 most productive players in the game currently, and he's slumping, and you're like, "Hey, I think we unlocked this." Watch out. And I think the Phillies are getting at it. But you know what bet we need to start looking at? It might be the no-hitter. Like, we got to start looking at some of those pluses. That might be like plus 1,000 if you call a no-hitter. Like the Tigers?
Plus 1,000.
More than that.
Kratzy, way more than that, dude. On a on a no-hitter to call a no-hitter? There's how many no-hitters per year? Like
I'm saying for like a start. Okay.
You're saying for the whole you're saying just up to a certain point, or you're saying for the whole no-hitter?
Yeah, like first 7 innings, no hits.
Oh, okay.
The Tigers lineup is Brutes, Magoots.
Yeah.
It's like a whole lineup of me.
Tell him. This might be your moment on social.
I am the R. I am the R in war. You know that, Kip.
You didn't officially retire, right?
No, I didn't quit. I quit. I didn't retire.
You got to sign,
can still
and when
be
you
a player.
retire, you got to sign the paper. Did you sign the paper, Kratz?
No, So I actually told somebody in MLB. I don't know if they never sent me a paper. They were like, "We don't really care." But I got called for 2 drug tests a year and a half after I quit playing.
What?
Did you still do it?
No, I didn't do it. I would have taken the cup and like peed all over the bathroom and then been like, "Sorry, I didn't
Put
get
a
any."
little scotch in there or something.
just dump.
Hit him like, one of these guys. Here we go.
Just
brown
extra eye contact.
That would be great though. That would be great if I pissed in the cup and then they were like, "Oh, well, this is a negative test," and then it comes out, I get a 50-game suspension because it was a brutal test. They're like, "I didn't even know that guy was still playing."
Yeah.
He's been suspended for 1,000 games. He keeps failing.
That would have been actually great trolling. Just like mess up your sample and just keep giving it back, and then just like keep making public statements. Like I refute everything. One of my drinks fell into the cup. Like you could go off on it. All right. Kenny Ballgame's been waiting for us. Ken Rosenthal joining us right now on FT Live. As you can see, Ken, you're running into something today. There's a lot of different locations, a lot of action going on. How are you? And what do you got this weekend? Let's start there, actually, because it's a big one.
I've got Yankees against the reeling Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. And the air is clearing in New York, so we're ready to go. And it should be quite an interesting series. Obviously, the Yankees without Judge right now. And the Red Sox, I'm not sure where they're going. They have all kinds of issues. Kluber is a guy they probably can't keep pitching, and Sale is hurt. Their defense has been a problem. Adam Duvall is supposed to come back tonight. That would help, but lots of issues.
It's a shocker that you have the Red Sox Yankees, but should you have the Red Sox Yankees according to Nestor?
Well, keep in mind, not only do we have Red Sox Yankees this weekend, we have them next weekend as well. And I did see Nestor Cortez's comments about how the rivalry isn't the same. And it certainly isn't what it was early 2000s, or even going back a couple of years, that wild card game. Remember that? It was wild at Fenway that night. The Red Sox fans, they wanted Yankee blood, and they got it. So yes, because the Red Sox are down right now, at least for the moment, that the rivalry is not the same, but it's always going to ebb and flow. And honestly, when I see the Yankees comments about the Blue Jays and the Rays and the Orioles being really tough opponents as well, and rivalries there, especially with the Rays, those comments ring true. And that's where it is right now. But the moment the Red Sox ascend again, we'll be back on, believe me.
Hey, Ken, let's keep it in New York for a moment because you just wrote this morning in The Athletic about the Mets. So I like the take that you bring us on ownership because it's so unique, right? Steve Cohen has put a stamp on this game in terms of his personality and how gung-ho he is. So he hasn't spoken much lately. I'm sure he's pissed off. What do you think he's thinking and what could happen if the Mets keep spiraling like this?
Actually, Scott, the article just asks, what is he thinking? Because I don't know what he's thinking. And I do know that he has to be frustrated that his team is 3 games under 500, 8.5 games out of first place, in the middle of a 6-game losing streak, including 3 straight losses in Atlanta to their arch rival, each in a game they led by 3 runs. First time in Mets history that has happened, leading by 3 runs in 3 straight games, 3 or more, and then losing all 3. So it seems that this team, especially now with Alonso seemingly headed for the injured list, could be reaching something of a crossroads, if not a breaking point. And that is the question I posed. What is Cohen going to do? This is a circumstance in which we often see managers fired. This is a circumstance in which the GM comes into question. And yet, at the same time, and I didn't get into this much in this article, but I probably should have, this team's payroll was driven by Cohen. Their desire to have star pitching, Scherzer and Verlander, driven by Cohen. I'm sure Billy Epler was in on those decisions too, but these are ownership decisions to sign pitchers like that. Now, his rationale, and it wasn't a bad one, was I've got to patch the team a little bit like the Dodgers did in the early 2010s until the farm system is ready to start spitting out players and balance the payroll and all of that. I get it. But the team is not playing nearly to expectations. Lindor is not what he should be. Jeff McNeil is not what he should be. I can go right down the line. And, of course, Verlander and Scherzer, the team was built for them to be dominant, and they have not been for the most part. At times, Max, yes. At times, Justin, yes. But both of them in this series gave it up. So there are a lot of problems here. And I'm not sure firing the manager is the answer. It was the answer in Philadelphia last year. I get it. And certainly there are times when a team simply needs a change for change's sake. That's okay if you want to think that way, but the Mets still have the problem in the rotation that I just described, the older starters. They are still a team that offensively has disappointed. Entering last night when they did score 10, they were 20th in the league in runs per game, and they have a bullpen out Edwin Diaz that probably was not fortified enough. So it's one thing after another. I don't know how it gets solved, and what I am saying in this column is this is the first real test for Steve Cohen. How does he react? Does he react like a modern-day Steinbrenner, or does he take a more patient approach, or is it somewhere in between? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Ken, do you think this is, I mean, you kind of hinted on it a little bit. It's not really something that Steve Cohen could just throw a bunch of money at to make go away. Are there any roster moves to your knowledge? Are there any other guys in AAA or something that could kind of create a spark for this team? They did score 10 runs. Their offense isn't doing enough to win games sometimes, but it can't do anything if the pitching's giving up more than 10. What kind of roster moves would you see happening that might change it a bit, change their trajectory?
They basically brought up their kids. Ronnie Mauricio, I believe, is the next one, and he is hurt right now at AAA, if I'm not mistaken. So he is not an option at this moment. Mark Vientos is on the team, and a lot of fans believe he should be DHing over Vogelbach, and maybe that's one thing you could do for starters. But in terms of what they might get and what they might get back, well, Quintana at some point comes back. Maybe Edwin Diaz comes back. But there isn't a lot of flexibility here. This isn't a situation where you can just bring up 3 guys to the minors. There's no Ellie De La Cruz coming. And they've got some good young players. Francisco Alvarez has done a great job. Beatty's kind of tapered off, I know, but at the same time, he's looking like a good player. And Vientos might prove the same. So they actually have pulled the levers that they needed to pull with regard to their roster. They simply need to play better. And without Alonso, assuming he does go on the injured list, as reports indicated this morning, it gets that much tougher. Because one of the questions I had about this team coming into the year, and actually one of the questions Steve Cohen had, was, is there enough power? If you remember, when they tried and failed to complete a deal with Carlos Correa, or backed out of a deal with Carlos Correa, initially Cohen said, I felt like we needed one more bat. Well, they never got the bat after they lost Correa, understandably so. It was so late in the offseason. But I had that fear going into the year. And they have a lineup that should be more productive than it is, of course. But outside of Alonso, where is the pop? That was always a concern of mine and a concern, more importantly, of other people in the industry. And it's kind of come to fruition.
All right. So this next question, you're going to have to answer super quick because you're on the Philly pitch clock. Okay? Oh, sorry, too late. Sorry, Ken, too late. They were right. Like they felt like their clock was faster, and they were actually right.
This story literally just came out, written by The Athletic's Matt Gelb, about how Phillies players believe that the clock at Citizens Bank Park is indeed faster than the clock at road parks, everywhere else that they play. And it seems that there's some evidence in terms of simply being more violations at Citizens Bank Park that would suggest that maybe there is an issue. To this point, the league has said, no, we don't see it that way, but it's kind of an ongoing conversation. And the thing I loved about this story, just from a reporting perspective, a lot of times, Erik and Todd, you guys know things are talked about in the clubhouse that we can't always get to for whatever reason or another. You can't write it. This was something it seems like the Phillies wanted written, and Matt was there to listen and write down what they were saying. And it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes, because this is the first anyone has heard of a situation like this, where the clock at one park is being accused by the players in that park of being faster. And actually, the Tigers' Erik Haas's quoted in the story as well, as saying, there was a weird violation on me the other night. So I don't know where it goes, but it was a fun read, to say the least. And disturbing, actually, too.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too as well, how good the Phillies are right now. I mean, these last 5 games, the 4 games, actually, the pitchers have gone over 7 innings. And just go on with Zach Wheeler. He's starting to turn into Zach Wheeler of old when I played with him. And they're cruising right now. It just seems like this month of June, watch out for the Phillies.
Well, the schedule has helped of late. And playing Detroit right now without Riley Green, offensively, they are just challenged. So not taking anything away from the Phillies. You've got to beat those teams, and they haven't always done that this season, but it helps. Now, the key here is maybe this helps them get on a roll, and the role that they've been waiting for, the role that they got on right around this time last year after changing managers. And this is a talented team, but it's so interesting to me, guys, that we have, I think it's 5 or 6 teams right now. Mets, Phillies, Padres, Mariners. I'd throw the Twins into this mix as well, that are just underachieving. And in some of those cases, those were playoff teams last year. Oh, don't forget the Cardinals either. And are all these teams going to be bad all season long, or are some of them going to revive? And the Phillies look like they might be starting to revive. We'll see. It's just stunning to me how that many teams, I just named 6, 5 of them were in the postseason last year, the Twins were not. That many teams that had such expectations simply have not produced.
Okay, I'm a big person in like the words you say, and I can never say the Cardinals president or GM. Is it Mozeliak or Mozeliak? Mozeliak, thank you. Okay, he used the word hopefully, talking about making moves. Hopefully we're buying. As a player, that affects me. Like hopefully we're buying. Like you should be there. Like I don't need you to. If you say hopefully we're looking to add and not subtract, like that doesn't bode well. It doesn't give me confidence from the front office. So it's in quotes, so it has to be like his actual wording.
Erik, no offense, but isn't the answer for a player in this situation always to play better? They need to play better. And then he won't be so hopeful, then he'll be buying. Now, what's interesting to me about his comments is that about 2 weeks ago, I think, he sat down for an interview with Bally Sports Midwest's Jim Hayes, who is their beat writer, or beat reporter, I should say. He's on television. And he told Jim that they did not plan on selling. I believe I'm quoting him correctly. It was a stronger version of what he said there. Here he is hedging, and he's not sure what he's going to do. And I understand that, because the way they have played, it looked like they were getting on a roll for a while, and then they just sputtered again. You can't be absolute with, oh, we're buyers, we're in this thing. You got to wait and see what happens over the next 6 weeks, whether your team plays better. They have not given anyone much confidence at this point, and they're in a weak division. There is no excuse for them not to be a contender. And I said earlier that I would not be surprised if they won the division by 10 games. I might want to take that back. At the same time, they need to get it together. And then they have pitching questions. There's no doubt about that. The starting pitching. But it's not just been that. The whole outfield is hurt. They haven't produced offensively the way they would want to, partly because of the injuries. These next 6 to 7 weeks are going to be very telling for St. Louis.
Hey, Ken, now I'm an owner now as well. My name's Jerry Reinsdorf. Okay, I'm 87 years old. Wouldn't you want to be this? I'm at the trade deadline right now. Let's go. I think it's go time for the White Sox. You're only 3.5 games out. You're either going to start getting some key cogs or, that's it. You got to start buying right now, no?
Teams aren't selling right now, really, Todd, and this whole thing needs to sort out, and you guys know this. We talk about trades being made at this time of year all the time, and they never seem to get made because the deadline is what drives teams. It's what creates urgency. And right now, the urgency isn't there. Teams are still taking stock of themselves in certain ways. So the question ultimately is, how does he see this team as an 87-year-old owner who has gone through a rebuild? Come the deadline, should they be in the type of position that they're in now, which is not out of it, but not really a team that inspires much hope. That's a division where you don't even have a 500 club leading the division right now. The Twins are below. So, yes, there's hope. And the White Sox have played a bit better. There's no question about that. They have the talent. We've all known this to be a contender. But to justify buying, they're going to have to still pick it up a little bit. And the real question to me is if they were kind of in that range where maybe they're good enough to win the Central, but they're probably not good enough to go to the World Series. At that point, do you sell and just look toward a better day, or do you go back and say, we got to keep trying? I don't know the answer. Everyone looks to them as a potential seller, but the reasons you just mentioned, the owner's 87, and the reason I mentioned, they're in a division that is quite mediocre, those are reasons not to sell. And they have been through the rebuild. I can't imagine Reinsdorf wants to do anything like that again after what they went through in the late 2010s. So this is an interesting team to watch for sure. They have some pieces. I wrote about Liam Hendricks as a potential piece the other day if they are in that mindset. Dylan Cease, Giolito, Anderson, all these guys. But are the White Sox in the AL Central going to want to give up? I have my doubts about that.
Ken, with all these teams kind of underperforming, even if they're maybe in a weaker division, but they're one of the better teams and you think it might just be one of those down years, do you see a Cardinals? Do you see a Mets? Let's say they don't catch up to the top leaders in the division. Do you see them becoming sellers? You kind of just hinted on it. And could you see them kind of maybe holding their pieces for next year and just kind of hope that they're going to play better? Or could you actually see them selling off some of their key cogs?
Well, Jason, one thing that those of us in the media are guilty of often is trying to classify teams and get GMs and executives to label their teams, buyer or seller, when in many cases, teams can and will do both at once, simultaneously. So maybe you trade off some pieces that are not long-term for you, but you also add some pieces that could help you this year and beyond. We've seen this happen countless times in recent years. Teams do this. So I would expect those kinds of trades to be more frequent perhaps this year, simply because it doesn't appear to be a great market for players. There's not a number of stars that are going to be available. It's going to be a pretty mediocre group. So should that be the case, teams will have to be creative to address their needs. And those kinds of trades that I'm talking about could be major leaguer for major leaguer, that type of thing. And if you're the Cardinals, for instance, let's use them as an example. Maybe you sell off one of your potential free agent pitchers, like a Jordan Montgomery, and at the same time, maybe add another pitcher in another deal. There are ways to do this that don't fall into such easy categories. And again, we all make the mistake, me too, of labeling one way or the other when many times it's not so black and white.
Ken, can I make the case with all these players we have on? Like, I'll ask Kip. Like, it's one thing if you're making a good baseball trade. Like, we've talked a lot about Pablo Lopez for Luis Ariz. That's cool. That's a good trade for both sides so far for the most part. But if you're, say, Boston last year, I don't even remember every single move they made. I just remember being like, what are they doing at the deadline? It's so weird. What message are you sending? Don't you want, as a player, to be told either, hey, we're buying or we're selling, not like, we're kind of getting rid of this guy. We might get this guy.
Well, we hinted on this, though, and Ken said it right, where it's like you have, as a team, you have to give the ownership the hope first before they give it back to you. They're not. You have to give them a reason to go out and be buyers. I think you have to show that you're going to have a strong push in August or July or whenever the middle months come. They're not just going to go buy just to buy. They're not going to try to buy their way or trade their way out of a hole. You need to already be in that race, kind of. So it helps to have a plan. You can tell which teams have plans.
Right. And at the same time, Jason, when a team that is in contention, and we've talked about this before, does not buy, that deflates the clubhouse in a way that it's hard to explain to fans. It's hard for us as media sometimes to grasp it. But when you're a team and you're pushing and your front office does not push at the most critical moment when the front office can help you, really the last critical moment of the season, that takes something out of a club. And that's the other dynamic here. Now, Scott, you mentioned Boston last year. That is a classic example of a team that utterly was confusing. To me, they should have sold in a bigger way. And instead, they were cute. They were like, hey, we're going to try to stay in it, but we're going to trade this guy. You traded Christian Vasquez, your starting catcher. When you're trying to stay in it, it didn't make much sense. That was not a great example of how this can be done. But there are other examples of teams that kind of retooled on the fly and got better that way.
Hey, Ken, question for you. My name is Nick Casano, Nicky Cass. I'm a friend of Todd's, just a Yankee fan. Do you think it's time for the Yankees to buy or sell?
Oh, they're going to be buyers. They're going to be in
you think so?
And they're going to be trying to do some things. I guess the question with the Yankees is, what is it going to be?
Right.
Where are they going to be with their depth at that particular moment? As we've seen with them, their injuries kind of keep coming up and going away. It's like a game of whack-a-mole, right? When you're just trying to keep everything in line and it doesn't seem to ever stop. Bader, for instance, comes back looking good, gets hurt again. That's not a long-term thing, but a lot will depend on who is healthy at the time and where they are in various places. Right now, if you had to say what they needed, it would be an outfielder because they are so thin there, and you could always supplement your pitching as well, of course. But I want to see where they are with their pitching in particular in mid-July as we get into it before really understanding what they might do. If I asked Brian Cashman this question today, he would totally defer it. He would say, can't answer that right now. We don't know exactly where we're going to be. And that's with health. That's with health.
Okay, Ken, I want to finish with this because I flew all the way out to Vegas just to look for John Fisher at these hearings. Cannot find him at all. Okay.
Shocking.
Shocking. Wait, just think about this. And I know Evan Drellick, who writes for The Athletic. He's been on this show, friend of mine. Absolutely love what he does. He does a great job covering some hard-hitting stories like this. And I'm following his play-by-play of tweets from these hearings, and it is so entertaining. But so I want to get your take on just what you've read from Evan. From an entertainment standpoint, for me, I'm going, wait, big picture. There's hearings going on. They're going, we're going to give you tens of millions of dollars a week or a day or whatever it is. Well, we can't get this funded, that funded. You're paying no taxes on this. Like this owner has done a poor job of, and that's saying it nicely, of connecting with his fans. Add it all up. Wait, he's not even at the hearing? Is that normal? I'm like, if I'm an owner and I've gotten absolutely PR smashed, if I want any sign of life of bringing my team to a different city, I better show my damn face. Who are you?
Well, he's got the team president there, and he's doing the public face. I'm with you, Scott. John Fisher has not ever really shown his face much at all. But you asked me about my impressions of the hearings. Well, I talked to someone who used to be in baseball about 2 weeks ago. And this person said to me, you watch, they're going to go back to Oakland or stay in Oakland. And I said, no. All they keep saying is that Oakland's impossible to deal with. They can't get a deal done there. It's not going to happen. They are pointing toward Vegas. Well, this person is now looking smarter, and ultimately he might look real smart because the Vegas thing, while it still might happen, certainly is not a slam dunk. Certainly there have been some questions raised by the legislators about just what a great deal this is for Las Vegas and the state of Nevada. It doesn't appear to be a great deal. These things never are great deals for the municipalities in terms of the public funding. You talk to economist after economist, it's a loss. It's a loser. So that's one thing. And then Oakland itself, well, and some Bay Area writers have written this now. Maybe if they lose Vegas, then they have no leverage. Then they come crawling back to Oakland. Then maybe Oakland says, okay, you're going to do this on our terms. And at that point, maybe John Fisher decides I should sell. I still believe Vegas is the most likely outcome, but I'm not totally convinced of it. And I can certainly see Oakland getting back into the picture if this thing falls apart, because then at that point, where else are the A's going to go? What do they have? Fair question.
Yeah, I can't get enough of this story. This is a movie being played out right now. Ken, thank you so much. Have a great Red Sox-Yanks series, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And hey, we're on the scene, so we'll do our best investigating here, Kip and I, while we're in Vegas.
I'll go check out the casino at Tropicana.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how it's going there. We'll try and put him out of business for a little bit. Hey, Todd Father, I know Nikki's got big plans, so you guys he's going to jump. Nikki, hey, great to have you on, man.
Hey, boys, thank you so much. Next time,
dude.
I'll come on. I'll let it rip, be a little bit more prepared. But thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity. It was great.
You did great, Nikki.
Well done.
You're
You did
welcome
great. Thanks.
anytime.
Yeah, one.
Oh, wait. No, don't show that one. No, I don't want to show that one. That one's bad.
Our full court basketball shot. Oh my
Look at that.
God.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
my
You get
God.
fouled on
I
that
don't
one,
wanna
Nikki?
talk about that. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Nikki got
about that.
fouled.
There it is. Hey.
Oh, we missed it there. Yeah. And I was
Are
like,
you
yeah.
trying to make it in?
That's the one.
No, nope.
Oh,
Like, well, I don't even know what that is. Like, I couldn't
moving
even
the
tell you
net
what I
on you.
did there.
Oh,
What
wasn't
take is
for you.
this? Hey.
And then look what happens now.
I get redemption now.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
That's your best.
No,
Oh my
not even
God.
close. Now watch this.
You had to eat a spoonful of mayo.
Oh.
You don't take the spoon home with you. Yeah.
Unreal. Thank
That
you,
dude
fellas.
dropped 20 a game. Thanks, Nikki.
Bet.
What was he, 20 a game, Todd Father, in high school? Something
Me,
like
yeah.
that?
I was 20 on the dot, baby.
Woo. That's fresh. I like it. All right.
Ugh.
Now, Kratzy, especially with that question you just pulled off too on the fills, Kratzy cutting off Ken on the pitch clock. That was one of the better questions so far this year. The delivery
Appreciate
was.
Appreciate that. I would love to dunk on Todd one time. I would love
Did you
that
dunk?
video of me dunking on Todd.
Did you dunk, Kratzy?
Kratzy, you were a hooper?
Nah, I mean, I played some. But I wasn't like Todd. I wasn't getting letters from UConn like Todd.
He's got the letter from UConn
Todd
in
did?
his bathroom in the lab in the studios there. You go in there,
Just what could have been.
you're taking a
Just every
piss.
time.
You look up and it says like, "Dear Todd, you know, we're a freaking powerhouse. Not sure if you've heard of us. We're UConn. Would love to have you on board." You know, among the alums, I think they like threw a few alum names on there, like Rip Hamilton,
Yeah,
Mecca
have you heard of us?
Okafor.
That's exactly who it was.
Right? Isn't that what it was? They're like, I don't know.
Like-
You could click on tonight if you want to watch
Yeah.
Emeka. He's playing for the Bobcats against the Nets tonight. If you want to check him out, he was just here. Give it a look. So,
Kratzy, you play any other sports besides basketball and baseball?
Soccer was huge in our area, we had a really good soccer team. But again, like I
Kratz, you're not
played.
playing soccer.
Too much running.
No, I didn't mind running. Dude, I was freaking in high school, like running. You don't get tired. People are like,
That's
I
true.
don't want to wear these kids out. No, you just go out and run. Like you get tired, you're like, holy crap, I'm breathing heavy. I'm fine.
Oh, I miss those days.
Yeah, not anymore. No shot.
Why are you breathing heavy? I put on my socks a minute ago.
Because you were looking for Scott in the lobby of the Aria.
I was just gonna say I was legit breathing heavy. I like sprint back in just in time.
My bad that we're sponsored by MGM, so I thought we would be in MGM.
You are.
No, well, Aria's an MGM.
I thought in the actual
MGM runs Vegas. So look, there's another one we're looking at right there. They've got like 80 hotels in the city, and so Kip and me obviously were like, oh, we got to be in the same. I didn't even think that was
You're like right next to the lift bar. I was like, there is no lift bar here.
Kip, you're in the big league hotel, kid. Okay,
Yeah.
That's where they put the big leaguers.
Hey, did I hear he played soccer? Hey, wait, time out. He wasn't the goalie. He was on the pitch. Like, dude, you were the
Stout defender.
Seriously.
You were.
I was
running.
a goalie. I was a goalie my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, on the JV team or whatever. Sophomore year, this kid comes in, Erik Constanzo, and I'm like, oh man, I got to become a defender. This guy's really good. I just did it because my buddies were playing.
Oh my God, that's tough.
See, Todd, you were this
Umbros.
size.
You were wearing Umbros up to your hips. Probably. You probably saw all that grease coming down your leg.
I had Umbros.
Above the belly button, Umbros.
Umbros were the play, and then you had to make sure you had some red underwear underneath just in case the underwear showed. Yeah. That's facts. But see, Todd, like you were full grown when you were a little leaguer. Like I didn't grow until after I was in college, I grew 2 inches. So
still waiting.
Yeah, well, but Todd was full grown when he was at Williamsport.
Unbelievable. No chance.
Let's hit some games tonight before Freddy Peralta joins us. Time for last minute game time. So thanks to our friends at Game Time. Hit up the app, FT Live, the promo code, please, all caps. Some people were like, I put it in, it's not working. I'm like, all caps on the promo code. It's not hard. You can press all caps. Caps lock will do it on your computer if you're on the gametime.co website. But last minute tickets. Where are we going? I mean, eventually for us, we might be going to a game here because we're in Vegas. But check out the slate tonight, boys. I got 2 bolded tonight. Let's see if you go there. No, Kratzy, where you going?
I'm taking the easy drive because we got practice this afternoon. Mm-hmm. I'm going right down to Philly. You think that you think the Phillies' 5-game win streak is a thing? Well, the Doyers are coming in town, and you better have your stuff together because these boys are not pleased after their Cincinnati trip didn't go the way they wanted it to. So I'm going down to see if Ranger is rolling into form. Like the Phillies' big 3 guys right now, Ranger's going tonight. He's coming off the IL. He kind of started slow last year, and he's kind of, he's a guy that's going to roll into form. Wheeler did his thing last night. Nola's got to pick it up. So, yeah, I'm going down Bedlam at the bank tonight.
Todd, one up him. Come on, you got better options tonight.
You know where my heart is. It's with Jersey all day. So Anthony DeSclafani, he lives 20 minutes down the road from me. I'm getting on to PJ. I like going to Cali. I'm going to San Fran. He's facing Stroman, who's been lights out. I'm hoping, I'm rooting for my boy DeSclafani, man. That's my dog right there. We still work out with him in the off season. Good dude. He's been playing. He's been doing well. He had his spurts where he's struggling, but he's back at home. Do your thing, big man. I'll be there.
Yeah, that's what I had highlighted. I mean, Stroman has been a Cy Young candidate and might be the most talked about pitcher over the next month and a half if he gets dealt. And then San Francisco's playing ball. I mean, I know they beat the shit out of Colorado. I mean, a comeback win yesterday, but they've won 11 in a row against the Rockies going back to last year. But San Francisco, they're in it. They're in the wild card race, and it sounds like their front office is saying they're going to be buying at the trade deadline. What about you? Where are you going?
I'm taking your other highlighted one. I'm going to LA. I'm not missing that pitching matchup between Castillo and Ohtani. Must-see TV with Ohtani. You got the 2 aces in division. Angels are starting to put things together a little bit. I think they're on a 4-game winning streak.
That sounds right. I'll
check.
For
them, that's putting it together.
Yeah.
But Seattle, I think, this is going to be one of those ones where I think the first game of the series really dictates the rest of the way it goes.
And for me, and I'm with you, that's my number one. So I'm with him anyway. So we'll get our PJ and then come back to Vegas and hit the tables and get ready for the poker tournament. But the Angels have won 4 in a row. They're 34 up, 30 down, which is still third place in the division. I mean, they're not winning the division. It's the Rangers and the Astros, but this team's going to go all out to try and make a wild card spot. For me, what also is interesting is, and I love watching Castillo pitch, they're 30 and 31. The Mariners were a great story last year, finally making to the playoffs. That roster looks good on paper.
I don't think you look at every division. There's no team that's really separating themselves or pulling away from their division yet. I think a lot of the good teams we've talked about earlier with Ken that are underperforming, to be honest, it's going to make for probably some pretty fun September baseball, the way this is going to pan out.
Yeah, the biggest leads you have right now are Tampa Bay is 6.5, clear of Baltimore. And this is actually for Houston, who we didn't get to, but we can spend a minute here. This is their largest deficit in the past 5 years of a full season, like not counting 2020, because they were only in the 500 range in 2020. But in a full season, and I'll get the note in a sec, they're 5 games back of Texas. So Houston's going to keep playing good ball. The only problem for them also, though, is Yordan Alvarez goes down with the oblique. I don't know if it's come out yet, but I mean, you can book it.
We've talked.
He's going to go on the IL.
Todd and I both, we've had that injury. That's not something kind of similar to a hamstring that doesn't go away fast and can come back real fast if you don't take enough time. So those are not fun ones. And especially for a power hitter like him, you really don't want to see him have any trouble kind of turning on a baseball. So speedy recovery for him, because he's one of the most fun hitters to watch in the league right now.
And you get that on a swing, right, Todd? Like, will you feel it on one where all of a sudden you just feel it pull at you?
You feel it on more a swing and miss than, even if you nick the ball, it feels better than if you just swung and miss on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I had it, afterwards, it was a tough time going to the bathroom. Whenever you had to sneeze, you're like, oh no, because you don't understand how many times you really use, your center of your body here, the outsides and the insides. Rolling over in bed was a struggle. So from talking to doctors about it, because I had it 3 times and later in my career, and I was just so frustrated. One was an intercostal problem too as well, and I'm like, what do I have to do here? Like, what's going on? He goes, well, this is a grade 1, grade 2, whatever it is. You need 25 days basically for it to fully heal, and then another 20 at least to build that muscle back up. So it's like, I mean, I don't know the severity of it, but these hamstrings, these obliques, you got to take time of doing nothing. Ice, hot and cold ice, maybe a light massage, and then start kicking back into gear. But this is, if you want to be fully 100% better, you have to take the time. And if it takes you 2 months, it takes you 2 months. And that's the first time I did it. I came back a little too soon because I felt great. And the season came, did my workouts. But that one time it happened again. I'm like, shoot, rolling over in bed was like, whoa, what the heck is going on here?
It's the worst. Have you said it? Laughing, sneezing, coughing, anything. That's, ugh.
Then you can't go out, right? If you go out with people and they're like making you laugh,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be like, yo, nothing funny. You
Right,
say no jokes in the clubhouse?
Edibles come in handy better during that time.
Did you guys do, so Kip, did you do your left side? And Todd, did you do your right side?
Left. Always left for me.
I did right side. You had it backwards. So mine felt like, literally, I did it on a swing, and it felt like someone threw a baseball at me from the dugout when it happened.
So, but if you've ever seen anybody go and check swing, they do their backside.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest thing. Like, as soon as you would see somebody like a check swing and they kind of give like like they kind of lean around, they got it. Now on the full swing, because you're torquing your front side, that front side rips it. And it's, both of you said it, like, don't come back too soon. Like, if they think 2 weeks, give it 3. Like, I know you want to be back, but.
It's funny, Chili Davis was my hitting coach with the Mets, and he's like, Frazier with his talk. He's like, listen, that's why you need to be a switch hitter, because I tore mine on one side, but I could still hit from the others. I was like, yeah, you're right. So he would DH and just hit predominantly righty or whatever, or vice versa, whatever one he didn't hurt. And until that finally healed up, he's like, all right, now I can go back to the other side. So
come on, Chili.
For a good
Chili
story.
was the man.
Come on, Chili. You ain't hitting with no oblique strains on one side.
Chili was a beast.
Maybe like a light oblique tweak,
Maybe
like a diet tweak.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like a little twinge. Don't be telling me you were hitting with an oblique strain where, Todd just said he couldn't even roll over. Chili wasn't just like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just go to the other side. No. Come on, Chili.
Hey,
don't do that.
That guy was an absolute beast. I think he had 300 pumps in the big leagues, too, if I wasn't
he
mistaken.
did. He could swing it. He can also lose a hitting coach job real quick, too. That man will get a job and be gone.
He kept, you know what? Yeah, we can get in that one deep, but we're not going to. Because I love me some Chili. I don't know why they let that man go. He's got some knowledge.
Yeah, he's super smart, and he talks like he gets the players, and like it's 1 year, new hitting coach. Oh, who was the hitting? Oh, Chili Davis. Okay,
it's confusing.
And then he gets hired by another team. Like that's a big league hitting coach.
No doubt.
Who's been on more teams, Kratz or Chili?
Come on now, I got 14 different organizations.
Damn.
Ain't nobody.
Chili's getting close.
Hey. Just want to throw the code up there before we move on to That's What He Said. Game time, baby. FT Live, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. We appreciate you. AJ was at the game yesterday and put up a little selfie from his seats at Braves Mets. Saw that? Good stuff. So check it out at the Game Time app or gametime.co. Let's do That's What He Said. And I want to start with the Mets game again. When we spoke about Chipper Jones and his comments, the post-game comments from Brandon Nimmo, I thought were pretty good. And he was set up on them. So it's not like Nimmo's just randomly saying this, but it was a good question he was asked. And Tim Healy throws the tweet up there for us, but he was asked, is the Mets-Braves rivalry too one-sided right now? And Nimmo got historically deep with us. He goes, quote, you could probably say that over the last decade or so, 20 years or whatever. Take it back to the 90s when they were winning the East all the time. It definitely is. I don't think he spoke like that, but that actually took us back 30 years. I think they were asking, the last year or two, like, you feel like the Braves are dominating is my guess. And he's like, yeah, the past 35 years.
The 90s always feels like it's 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Really always does.
Listen, I know Tim Healy. That's such a if you know the guy, man, he's trying to find an edge or something. It's been his MO. It's just so annoying to see, and just not. Why even ask that question? You know what I mean? Like, wait until the tide comes through. But I don't know, that's annoying to me. I don't know how you guys are taking that, but kudos to Nimmo for answering the question like that and being honest and keeping it real. It's not the right time to answer that question, man. After you lose 3 games like that, he's trying to find a dig. I do because I know the guy and I know how the Mets are, man. And it's just they're always trying to find another dig. They're losing, they're struggling. Don't keep trying to dig with a question like that. And that's just me. That's my opinion. You guys can have a totally different answer to that, but come on, just think a little bit where these guys are at right now. You're gonna ask that question. If he asked me that question, I would have been all over him. Like, dude, talk about the game. We don't need to talk about this. Right
do I need to spark the Mets again?
Kip, we're not talking about the Mets, man. We can't talk about it.
No,
can't talk about it. You've said edibles in this show, and you said I'm going back to Cali. And all I can think when both of you guys were saying going back to Cali, going back to Cali. Yes. But Todd, you don't think that's a good question? I think that's a great question. You just said it, and I know you might have a thing with Tim or whatever, but so I don't know who he is, but I think it's a great question. Like we've talked about it so many times. The Mets will Met. Well, you know what? You can't Met against the Braves, or you're going to be Met down in third place like they are right now.
Yeah,
nice.
but my thing is the biggest problem I got. They just lost 3 games when they're up 3 or 4 runs. Why don't you ask Buck Showalter that question? You know what I mean? Why don't you ask Verlander that question? He's going to Brandon Nimmo knowing he's a respectable dude, but at the same time, Brandon's not going to be jumping on you. Go to a guy that's been around the block a little more and talk to him about the situation. A veteran guy. I know Verlander hasn't been there for a while, but go talk to a veteran guy and see what kind of answer you get back.
I'm with you. I don't love the question, but also I don't think the answer's that problematic either. I think if you just look at the record, all he's saying is that this is the record. Same thing. I mean, that happens in rivalries. You had Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State was taken off for a long time there. It doesn't mean it's a less of a rivalry. It's just a lull in the rivalry right now. I think in the Yankees, Boston, everything. So it's going to come back around.
Padres, Dodgers.
Yeah.
Remember, we had Joe Musgrove on, and he was like, damn, that tasted good. We finally got him.
Yeah.
He's like, damn, they were kicking our ass. He's like, we finally got him in the playoffs one time. So I thought, Todd, that Nimmo kind of deflected it in a fun way. He's like, I could say, yeah, sure. Like, Tim's probably looking for him to be like, yeah, call them our daddy, or they're kicking our asses right now. But
that's exactly what he wants. So he could put it on his Twitter account.
Wait, but Nimmo took it like deeper. He's like, yeah, let me give you a little history lesson. The Braves have been pretty damn good. One of the more consistent regular season teams for the past 30 years.
Yeah, we've been sucky, but in our defense, it's been going on for 30 years.
You know what? The only thing I hope is he asked that question before the game and not after. That's where it would drive me a little kooky. That's all.
It was post game.
Oh well, then I'm still peeved about it.
Anyway, I'm with you. I don't love the question.
Can we get Tim Healy on? Because I love that smoke.
Yeah.
We don't need any more smoke in Jersey right now, but I love that smoke.
True.
Because I think there's a little chord there with Todd. I think there's a little.
We did hit something. I like it.
And Todd, in fairness, like AJ's got beef with 90% of the reporters out there. And we'll start nice, and they'll be like, AJ, let me tell you about this time when,
when you were a jerk to me.
Yeah, we got to get one of your boys out
beef.
here.
No beef. I've heard his questions a couple times over. That's all. It is.
But now's your time to clap back. We can bring him on.
I have no beef with him at all.
That's funny because you guys always talk about like knowing the reporters and stuff. Kip, you just brought it up. I was at so many places. I remember very few reporters.
Yeah.
It was like, because they never interviewed me. You guys were stars. B, once they did interview me, it was like, oh, how does it feel to get optioned or traded? Like, it was nice to, like, what kind of answer do you want from me?
But they love you. Kratz, they love, yes, they do. They do.
Okay.
And wait, let me tell you, in addition to you being a nice guy, here's the thing. Like you're saying, they're not coming up to Kratz every damn day being like, hey, Erik, let me ask you about this. Let me ask you about that. So when you do get the time, it's like you're going to give them your time. Some guys, I get it. I mean, I've been in there, been in the clubhouse a million times where, they go to the same few guys often and then they won't go away. Then this is the move that would drive me nuts if I was playing. I'm sure you experienced this, right? You give them like 10 plus good minutes, right? You got a scrum, you got like 5 of them. And then you get the side sessions. Sometimes it's fine, but like you'll see one side session. I see a guy waiting. You talk for 10 minutes. Then there's another who sneaks in for another. And it's like, dude, like I can see it. And I've talked to some star players about it. They're like, yo, the side sessions, sometimes they're cool and it depends who it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes like you get the rando blogger who wants to spend 20 minutes. Like that's an exclusive one-on-one. We need to set that up separately. Like it's 11:45 p.m.
You typically build a good relationship with most of the beat reporters for the team you're at. I think what we're talking about with Todd too, it's like the way you start remembering certain ones are by bad questions or by bad encounters to where they do that, where they wait till the end to ask their question that's off-putting or unnecessary. Other than that, usually, because you're not offended or caught off guard too often by their questions, is usually on topic or what's going on. But there's just some guys where, like he's saying, where it's like, why are you asking that right now? Or what's the point of asking that even? Write your own answer. Just fill it in then yourself. If you want a quote, just say it yourself then.
Do you guys understand, though, the times when maybe it's something tough, but you got to ask it, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. I'm not caught off guard. If I know we're
that.
Sucking and they're going to ask, hey, you've been sucking, what's going on, or something like that, like I'm not surprised by the question. But if you're trying to stir the pot and just want to put a player's name next to it instead of your own, that's where we start to kind of have a bad rapport with them.
And the biggest thing for me is, and I'll leave it at this because I could go on a little longer, but when there's a problem and then they come and ask you, hey, Todd, that situation you had there, you think you've done anything different? And then I go on about whatever I did wrong. And then the next guy's like, but if you were put in this circumstance, and then I'm like, dude, they asked the same question 3 different ways. I just gave my whole point, and I gave my story, and I gave you every detail that I could possibly think of. Why are you trying to keep biting that? Why are you trying to keep getting more and more? I'm not going to tell you anymore. I gave you the quote, like, all right, let's move on to something else. But that, when it shouldn't be that big of a problem, like you said, Jason, when it's a little problem, they try and make it bigger. And that's the way it goes in New York, which is fine. I've been around the block. I know my ways around that. But don't try and make something little as big as possible just so you have some little clickbait later on down the road.
Let me give you one example because we have an extra couple minutes here, and then I'll get to another good quote from That's What He Said coming up. So the Cardinal story, right? Like, we hammered that for a good week plus because it was fascinating. It was drama. I can only imagine how that was for some of the players in the clubhouse. The Cardinals get pretty good coverage. There's good, smart media coverage out there and some good writers. They got to go up to the guys. Even if you don't have something, I know if I'm out there, I have to go up to, for me, almost everyone. It affects everyone on the team. Hey, you just signed this big guy. He's replacing the legend. They demoted him in 5 minutes. There's talk about him not doing his job well. Now he's coming back, right? Like that you're prepared for, no?
Yeah. More times than not, like I said, you're in tune with what's going on with the season, with the team, with everything. There's not many questions that catch you off guard. It's what we're trying to say is when you can see that little agenda that they have, or why they're making something bigger out of it when it doesn't need to be. I have a Cleveland guy that is in my head. I'm just not going to say his name, but exactly who I'm thinking of. I don't even want to give his name the airtime, but I'm interested to see how different though. You're hinting on it already with this Tim guy that New York media is, though, because you hear New York and Boston, a lot of guys, you'll hear that in their no trade clauses, they'll put those teams on there because they don't want to deal with the media. So I'm wondering if there's just a lot of guys like that who just want to poke and get that story that makes the headline.
Of course.
All right, so now I got one that to me is utterly confusing. So this is Jack Harris, who covers the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw was not a fan of Reds manager David Bell intentionally walking James Outman prior to Barnes getting hit. Pretty ridiculous. This is the quote. Pretty ridiculous that they walked the guy in front of him in that situation. I don't agree with that. Or a lot their manager did this series. I'm like, go on. See that? I need an immediate follow-up too.
Then you ask the question, what else did he do?
What else did he do, number one? Number two, I know he hasn't been as good as the first month and a half, but you see James Outman compared to Austin Barnes? It's a pretty big difference in the hitting profile.
I don't like what their manager did because he made the exactly right move to make in that situation.
See, that to me, I've got a lot. Now, Clayton sometimes is not going to give you a ton, right? So, but I have many follow-ups there. Like Todd said, the one, right? What else did he do? But also what would you have done, Clayton, to win the game? What did he do wrong?
I think he has his teammates back. I think that's what he's doing here, but I don't know how you argue. I'm with you. I'd love to hear what else he's talking about because that specific situation that he's responding to is kind of a no-brainer.
What do you mean? What do you mean, teammate? He has his teammates back? Dude, your catcher's kidding. Your catcher's has a 300 OPS.
I'm with you, but you've seen how it's taken offensively when someone gets walked to get to you. I'm just saying I think that's what Kershaw's doing. He's having Barnes' back in this situation. Again, but it's completely the right move to make by Bell.
Oh my gosh!
His numbers dictate. It's not a personal thing that he's doing.
Yeah, that's what anybody. That's a move anyone makes. If you got a base open in a certain situation like this, and it's Outman followed by Barnes, and Barnes is doing what he's doing, and he's never been this big hitting catcher, right?
I think there's just a little. I'm with you. We touched on it earlier. I think there's a little frustration that series didn't go as well, and you're hearing it kind of in Kershaw's quotes.
It went well for Kershaw yesterday.
Yes, it did.
They won, so I'm like, dude, what's he mad about?
The Dodgers' expectation is coming at least with a series win out of there.
Sure, yeah. And the Reds, the Reds, they had fun this week against the Dodgers.
I think the only thing I could think of when David Bell got thrown out of a game, his antics were off the charts, man. But listen, that's David Bell. I had him as a Double-A manager. I love the guy to death. He always had his teammates back. He's a kind dude. But when you mess with one of his players, even if it's something so little, he's going to come at you with like a bat out of hell. Like I said, I would love to know what Kershaw was thinking there. What else? What did he do? So like we can, go over that. But maybe it was because they lost. Maybe because he got thrown out. He thought maybe it was silly what he did. That's the only thing I can think of.
I wish
Down 6.
Yeah. I wish we had more down 6, and then his team came and rallied to win it. Like he was sticking up for his players. Like I wish we had more time than a day to figure out what was going on or ask Kershaw. Like he's not.
Well, no, Kratz. That's my question. Is like you're up 6-0. That game wasn't close from the jump. Like is he saying because it's a 6-run game? Unwritten rules or something? I don't know.
In the Great American Small Park?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't believe in any of that shit. Play the damn game, but I don't know. Like, why else would you throw that out there?
So maybe he felt like some of the stuff he was doing was Bush League. But again, I haven't seen anything that like what. Oh, hey, we're winning by 6. Make sure you don't. It's okay. Let Austin hit. Here, Austin, like, we'll just give you a pit. No, like, 100%. You never know what's going to happen. They have Ellie De La Cruz missile. Like, the man's going to steal bases. He's going to pinch run for people in the Pioneer League, the Atlantic League, and then he's going to hit homers for the Reds. He might even put on a Dodgers uniform, hit a right-handed homer for the Dodgers. Like, you never know what's going to happen.
I'm with you. All right, so one more, and then Corey Dickerson's joining us soon. And, for the fans in the chat, Full Menu Freddy's got some connection issues, so we'll probably have to swing him on Monday or Tuesday. We'll get him early next week, so we'll keep you posted there. But Corey Dickerson's coming soon, and I do want to make sure I cover this, so because I can't get enough. And actually, Claudia, just so I don't forget.
You love this.
But wait, is it just me? Or if you check out our highest performing clips by far, what are they about? Anyone want to throw a guess out there? What is more consumed on Foul Territory everywhere? Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Yes?
Me.
It's one of two things. It's either Erik Kratz falling down or it's the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Or Joe
Correct.
West.
Correct. C, all of the above. It is Erik Kratz and the Oakland A's. And also, though, right now there are updates, and I just want to make sure that everyone realizes that this is history and this is drama. And to me, if this was a movie, you'd be like, oh, that movie was good, but it was a little unrealistic. They were taking it a little too far with the whole, we're going to let the infestation go in the place and we're not going to have anyone trying here this year in terms of making front office moves. And then the guy's going to go to Vegas and not show up. So anyway, I'll give you the quotes from Evan Drellick about Oakland, really about Vegas. So they're having these hearings going on and they're waiting. They were supposed to vote on Thursday and then there was no vote and it's gotten pushed to like Monday. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but I can tell you from a state senator, here's the quote for that's what he said about the Vegas A's. You've all called us in here for a special session and are asking minimally for the state to give you all $36 million per year for the next 5 years for a taxpayer-funded stadium at the same time that the governor has vetoed funding for summer school, a bill to support children's mental health, a bill requiring paid family leave, all because the governor said we couldn't afford them. And there was a bunch of back and forth going on. My main thing just is like, why are you rich? Just if you want to go there, just go there. What's the problem here?
What a time to be an A's fan.
It's ridiculous.
Let's say this does fall through, like Ken was hinting at. Going back with your tail between your legs, and if you're the fan base, like, what would have changed for them to start coming out now?
Well, no, like they're coming out on Tuesday
if they go back,
to reverse protest.
Yeah,
like it's going to be busy on Tuesday because they gave out thousands of shirts. Yeah, we'll cover it next week. They gave out thousands of shirts that just say "sell" on it, like real nice and simple, and they'll be there. I mean, they're not. First of all, by far, number one thing that gets attendance is winning.
True.
When you win, fans show up. So, and I will say, for many years, Oakland's attendance was fine. They were middle of the pack, which is fine. And during when they were really good and they were playoff teams, place was nuts.
Even when they usually even when they don't have that many people, they're pretty loud though.
Yeah,
the cowbells and everything like that. They make themselves heard.
and people watch. It's also TV market wise. It's a top 5 TV market.
Yeah,
like you're in the Bay Area, they can handle 2 teams, but you have to do it right. You know. So
hey, did they decide on a new team name yet, or no? They haven't gone that far.
no, they would keep it if it goes here. As far as I know,
the Las Vegas A's.
As far as I know, yeah. I mean I know, and I'm gonna walk around and see if I can find people that are actually from Vegas when I'm walking around the hotel later and be like, "Hey, are you from here? Do you want an expansion team so you can like get all the bad taste of that out of your mouth?"
I was just gonna say if Oakland stays in Oakland, there should be a team in Vegas in the next 5 years.
I agree. I think that it's getting to the point here where they just don't want to deal with this group. I think I'm getting that vibe when I'm following the tweets here.
This group, as in
the ownership group and the president. Well, and the roster right now. I mean, hey, that roster is how. But how many years away from?
I know. Yeah.
From competing is that team right now? Like they ripped it down to the studs, and the farm system has a ways to go, and there's no major leaguers that are going to be on the next A's playoff team right now. I'm just saying, maybe 1 or 2, like maybe Nick Allen a part of it or something. But like, there's not much. Like it's probably going to take them. Well, I will say this: it's going to take 5 years if they actually move here. So,
like I said, what a time to be an A's fan.
Woo!
I think Todd, you were saying, oh yeah, you love like I think whether we kill this topic or not, find another place that's actually talking about something that to me is so crazy important. How many times I haven't turned on the MLB Network purposely for a long time, but they're not talking about it. They might talk about like relocation efforts and the team president is standing at a mic at a podium. Yes, the Oakland A's, we play baseball.
No, I worked there. I mean, I'll stop it. I worked there. We didn't go there. I mean, I can say that with confidence that you don't touch it. You can't touch that stuff there. So the reason
but it needs to be.
People want to hear about it. That's why I'm talking about it. Like we bring it up. I'm not also just saying like, hey, out of the blue. Like there's hearings going on right now where you have politicians absolutely letting loose on owners being like, or on it one particular group being like, dude, no, not right now. So
okay, let's go to the Tropicana and see if we can find anything
from
the craps table. Or
Kip and me are going to be hitting the scene soon.
Take some BP at the Tropicana.
Stay tuned on that. Hey, let's try and run our locks if we can right now. So before we get to Corey, and Corey Dickerson's going to join us soon.
We don't have to show what we did yesterday. We'll just go through our locks today. How about
Brock
that?
Star?
We already touched Todd.
No, forget about Brock. He's not on the show. Who cares?
Okay. Bet MGM locks.
Clip that and send it to him.
Todd, guess what? When I lose hard. Here we go. Bet MGM locks. And Todd, I got smashed too. You got smashed early. It was a no sweat bet, right? It was the over quick, and you flick it off. And for me, Boston got destroyed early, so I was like, good. On to the next one when I was on the plane. And Brock is a champ. Took the under on Chicago and the Angels and nailed it. Good job, Brock. We'll see you next time. Money bags, a little quick look. Yeah, we got work to do now, Frazier. I know you went a little hard. You doubled down, right?
I said 200 and then I switched it. That's what happens. Scared money don't make money.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I like it. You're 8-10. You're good.
I'm not happy about
it. It's competitive. All right, so then you kick it off, Top Father. Bet MGM locks for Friday. Let's get a win on the board here.
Go big. Keep going.
So for me, I'm sticking with them.
What?
I'm going with the Mets again here. Listen, they're going to Pittsburgh, okay? Pittsburgh's been struggling. Mets are going to come out. You know what? They took a nice flight. Probably Buck said, play the music. Let's get it going. I'm just going with the Mets. I'm sticking with them. I think it's minus 105. I'm going 420 to win that 400, and the rest is history. Let's go.
Kratz, how do you feel about that? And then you can rip your pick.
No, I mean, I was about to lock it in. I want to lock it in. I want to follow Todd. I'm just nervous with Pete not in the lineup. But, yeah, you know what, Todd? I'm on board with you, big fella. Sorry I'm not there in your house today. I'd be giving you a high five on that.
Yeah,
pick.
but you're a winner, baby. You're taking that high school team to the chip, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. We got work to do. We got practice.
No, it's it. It's over. You're winning it, or you're not coming back.
Can I bet on that game, by the way?
So, guys, Bucks. No, we can't talk about gambling, man. We can't talk about gambling in the sport that I'm in. That'd be like talking to the players. Can't mention that stuff. No, my pick. I'm going back, man. You should see my list. I love these parlays. I'm addicted to the parlay. I'm addicted. I got Marcus Stroman at 4+ Ks, built with your boy, Jersey native, Desclafani at 4+ Ks. It's giving me minus 110. I love it. There's a couple others that I was looking at too. You Darvish, Gomber, seems like easy money. It's big time. I'm feeling hot. I'm feeling hot. I'm like Kip when I'm looking back at the pitches.
Hot. 1 for 1.
You're going what? You're going 110 for a hundo?
No. Oh shoot, I forgot to figure that out. I lost my last one, so I have 75 cents on there. I'm trying to get that off of there.
Oh no, I know.
I can't figure it out. So
well, let's talk through it right now, though. How confident are you feeling?
We're just gonna go 110 to win 100.
Oh, boo.
I mean,
Keeping it simple.
Okay,
All right, cool.
no, I like that. 440 to win 400.
there we go.
We're in Vegas, baby. We're in Vegas.
Let's go.
Viva.
Kip?
I think we're going to ride the hot team right now. We're going with Atlanta. I think we're going to go Atlanta money line, but it's minus 200. So, I mean, I can't have these guys go high and not join them. So let's go 500 on Atlanta money line.
To win 250.
To win 250. Is that, yeah.
All right.
200 to win 100. No? For Atlanta money line? Is that what you're talking about? Are you money line or run line?
Money line.
Yeah, money line. I mean, I'll double check for you right now.
No, yeah, it is. 5 to win 250.
Oh, 5 to win 2. Yeah.
What are you going with?
Wait, 5? Yeah. I gotta get some sleep. Dodgers, Phillies, please.
The dealers
take the
added up
over.
here.
Yeah, I did log 1 hour. Basically took the reverse red eye. Dodgers, Phillies. It's 9.5 at minus 105. I'll take the over on that. John, as Kratz would say.
Yeah, no, just say it. Just say it. Don't slur it out. Just John.
I'll take the over on that, John, and here's why. I got Michael Grove, young starting staff right now for the Dodgers, and I got the Phillies offense just lighting it up still. I think this offense looks different right now. And I was like thinking, do I go Phillies money line here or run line? And I was like, actually, I think the Dodgers are going to have a night too on offense. I know Rangers Suarez, and he looked good last time around. I think the Dodgers get a couple runs off him and then hit up the bullpen too. So I just think this game's got, 8-6 written all over it. So there's your locks. And Bet MGM players will receive a bonus bet to use on any sport on Saturday. Not today, Saturday. Bonus bets will be given to players on Wednesdays and Saturdays when you log into your account on the Bet MGM Sportsbook app or on the website. You log in, you get your bonus bet. It's that damn easy. Bonus bets can only be used on any sport wagers. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I want to give a shout out too, as Corey Dickerson is hustling into the clubhouse and will be joining us soon. So I do want to shout out the Oklahoma Sooners softball team for being one of the most dominant college teams of all time. I said it. I mean, they rake. It was actually close in their championship game against Florida State, 3-1. But this is 3 straight national titles, 5 in the last 7 years. And this season, and we got some stats, they were 61-1. They run ruled people, like they mercy ruled people 28 times.
Wow.
Look at their run differential. You want some run differential? 501 to 59.
Dynasty.
Yeah, dynasty.
Oh,
they had a 53-game win streak. I mean, this team is a dynasty. Yes, it's been 3 straight years. Also, I read an article the other day where some of them were speaking out. Like trolls, get off me on social. I watched like 2 minutes of their highlights where they're celebrating, and they're like, what, we can't celebrate like big leaguers? Like, they weren't like pointing to the dugout like, come on. They would, knock RBI double, whatever it is, look at the dugout, do their thing, super animated, let's go, like really passionate. And they're like, some people are giving us shit on social. Get out of here. Get off of them. They've been
consistent. Shit. I watched I don't know if it was their Super Regional or their first game in the College World Series versus Clemson, which was an awesome game where I think that was their closest game of it. But it's like they play with so much enthusiasm and emotion. Like it might be just a 4-pitch walk, and they're spiking the bat and pumping up the crowd because it was like a sold out crowd. So they're getting everybody into it. But they did it every game. It wasn't just one time.
It's a good watch. It's way
entertaining.
It's a way more entertaining. That's why we talk about this in the game all the time. Like, I know sometimes the players will get pissed if a guy's going too hard on something, right? Or old school broadcasters going after like Marcus Stroman if he's doing this too much. But like,
you don't like it, beat us.
Yeah, like let him go. And that's what the Mets did. We had multiple Mets on over the last couple of weeks, and they were like, nah, we got no problems. And the anonymous Met that said that they did have a problem was fake news. This is another one of Todd's friendly reporters making some shit up.
He couldn't find someone to put the name next to the quote.
So props to the OU softball team. We appreciate you. And now we're ready for our guest here, Corey Dickerson from the Washington Nationals, joining us right now on FT Live. And we do this, Corey, when we do these every few weeks. 10 years, baby. Clap it up.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations,
thank you.
bud.
Yeah.
That's
Appreciate
big time.
it. Never thought I'd make it. Never thought I'd make it.
You're here looking good. And with all of that, yesterday was the day that you hit the 10 years. You get a smoke out. You can't even play in the game and celebrate and pimp a homer.
I know. It's day off. Hey, can't beat that, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, what did you get
early
a
day
gift?
off?
Did the boys do anything for you in the clubhouse? A cake, a gift, or anything? Did anything happen?
Yeah, man. They gave me I like to golf, so a sweet little golf bag, some Jordan, I think some Jordan 4 golf shoes, a couple bottles of whiskey, and had a good little speech, Finnegan put some stats out there and things like that. So it was really cool. It was awesome for those guys to really do that for me.
Bravo, well done.
That's sweet, man.
That's really cool. So then give me the next layer. Do you celebrate with the fam? Do you take some of your teammates out and be like, yo, let's toast to this, and also kind of give them the motivation of hopefully hitting that mark too, because you're playing with a lot of young guys over there in DC.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my family, I got 3 kids. I got an 8-year-old boy, 5-year-old boy, and 2-year-old little girl, and they came to the ballpark, hung out with me a little bit. But yeah, there's a bunch of young guys on this team. I've always tried to pride myself in the way I am as a teammate. So trying to help somebody else, try to lead the way. So I look forward to, definitely doing a lot of dinners with these guys. It's kind of crazy. Yesterday we got in early and they already had stuff planned, but look forward to doing something, celebrate a little bit with a few of the guys. The age difference in this clubhouse is a little different.
You're in New York?
We're in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta. Oh, sorry, I had that confused.
Yep.
Hey, question for you. From playing against you from all these years, I remember you had such that swing. I said nasty swinging, which means good in part. You would always get after. You were ferocious. You would attack the ball. Mm-hmm. And then as you got older, I saw when I'm playing third, I'm like, oh shit! You developed this 2-strike approach where you would widen your base and you wouldn't move nothing, and it was just all hands. And I remember one at bat, you might have fouled like 10, 15 pitches off. I'm like, this son of a B. I mean, put the damn thing in play. And then you did, and you hit one off the wall. So talk to me about your approach in hitting for all the young kids out there. 2-strike hitting for 1, and for 2, the adjustments you need to make day in and day out.
Yeah, man. You know how it is. But early in my career, it was awesome. I never really thought about swing mechanics. So especially coming up with Tulo and all those guys, they were always super aggressive. And when I got caught up and made it up, I just, attacked the ball, attacked the zone, and was very rhythmic. And the older I got, I got big into mechanics, and that kind of hurt me a little bit. But I've always been so competitive. A lot of people don't know anything about my history or my past. Like I've had tore my labrum, my bicep, had anchors, tore it again, never did a rehab. Played with my shoulder, basically still tore, and just grinding my way, to play every single day. And so, like, my will to win is what developed that two-strike approach. It was like, man, I'd rather foul off 10 balls, hit a ball to you than strike out. Like, I hate giving that guy the gratification of striking me out. So that's when I kind of developed in the big leagues, it used to be choke up a little. Now it's like, these guys are so good. I spread out, no leg kick, and try to up my percentages. I just weigh everything. And a bunch of these guys on the team have picked it up, and Lane Thomas, Dominic, and it's really helped them out. Just showing them what I do and what I think during those times. I might go to it. If a guy's on third and I'm facing Kershaw, why would I take my ace swing when my ace swing's probably not going to match up to that guy? And so I can up my percentages and say if my contact rate is like a 50, 60%, with my two-strike approach, why not get 3 chances at it?
I love that. The competing part, that's how you get 10 years. That's when I reached out to you, like, for 10 years. Guys, I reached out to him, and he was like, he goes, man, just exactly what he said. He goes, I can't believe I got it. It's been a grind.
Yeah.
Like, what are you more pissed about? You missing your bicep session right now, or the fact that you've only made one All-Star game in your career?
Shoot, man. Yeah, that's kind of both. I think, like, I threw, like, when I was 16, I threw 93, played shortstop, never played outfield in my life. I had a surgery and went to a hitting camp, had a surgery or whatever, hurt it there, had a surgery, and I was playing football 2 months later. And I never rehabbed it or anything. So I had to learn how to play the outfield when I went to college and pro ball, and wound up finding out it's still tore and all that. But I really think I might not be where I am today if I, was never hurt, because I wouldn't have had to grind as hard or focus as hard on hitting. So I don't know. But the All-Star game stuff, yeah, man, that's always been like, it's so hard to make it. People don't understand. Like, unless you have a name, it's so hard to make it. Even in 17, when I made it, I was hitting like, I don't know, like 330 with 13 or so. And Nelson Cruz was 300 with 8 or so. And it was like, he was blowing me out of the water in both. It was like, man, I might not even get in. And so it's always, as a competitor, you always want those awards and things like that. But it's the grind every day I love.
All right, so have you ever heard the misnomer, or do you believe it's true, you're from the SIP,
Yep.
that hitters from the SIP never really pan out? You've heard that from scouts? Because I had a scout tell me that, and I was like, I heard that after I was done playing. And why do you think they would say something like that?
Maybe just the same reason why there's not a ton of athletes out of that area. There's so many athletes, but you don't get to face great talent, or like, if you don't go to a SEC school, like, you might not get seen, or, like, if you go to a small junior college like me, or, you might get overlooked, and they'll just, like, keep their eye on you and make sure you're still there and, like, kind of keep you hidden, things like that. But I don't know why that stigma would be. Maybe because baseball isn't year round. It is now, but like when I was growing up, it's nothing like Florida and Georgia and California, where kids are more interested in football, basketball in Mississippi than just baseball.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever gotten compared to Lance Nix? Because you, like, every
Lance
time I
Nix,
see
no.
you look just your body type, your face, the way your hair is, dude. You and Lance Nix just looked exactly like each other. You guys had almost simultaneously the same swing.
Yep.
But you guys see that or no? Am I just
Oh,
seeing
for
things?
sure. Big old
Absolutely,
muscles,
yeah.
the same smile. Absolutely. Yeah, just a chiseled jawline. Love it.
We got to find a
Shoot.
picture like that. So when I played with Pittsburgh, I was the oldest guy on the team by 4 or 5 years for the month I was there or whatever. But you've been there for a lot longer now. Being a veteran guy, do you find it more that we talked about earlier, but do you feel like you're leading a younger generation more on that team, or do you find you sit back and you're just watching a little bit more?
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm evolving so much. You grow I'm so much different than when I was 24, and that's the hard thing is like you can't balance both. You got to be. That's what makes a superstar. A superstar is like you got to be sold out on being selfish. I mean, this game is what it is, and to be good at anything, you got to be, completely locked in. And as I have a family and things like that, I get a lot of joy out of helping somebody else's vessel. Being able to, have a unique way of saying something or seeing something to be able to translate to these kids, to be able to see and put it into play is unique and joyful. I think that's more lasting than, say making an all-star game or something very personal that you work hard for. It's just like winning anything. It's just, you got to wake up and do it again the next day. It's tiring. It's exhausting. Yeah, you reap the benefits of getting money and things like that, but helping other people, the true joy that you get from that, there's nothing better.
Hey, I'm looking back, doing some reflecting. I mean, this is only, I think, 2020 or 2021. I remember I wrote this down because it stood out. Adam Wainwright was talking about you in the playoffs, and tell me if this rings a bell. And he was throwing a Vladdy comp for the way he said you'll expand the zone, and then it'll help you get. He said it'll help to get knocks. Is that ringing a bell? Was there a playoff? Who was it? Cardinals. Was that Marlins in 2020?
I mean, we played the Cubs and then Atlanta in the playoffs.
Oh,
but
he was on the
Waino
broadcast.
He's on the broadcast, yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
because I was like, when did they play them? So,
Yep.
so you know what I'm talking about? I mean, you can say it better than I can, but I want you to talk about what Waino was saying, because I thought that was, you hear like, oh, Corey Dickerson's Vladdy. I'm like, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just who you are as a hitter. Like sometimes you can try to, like, what certain teams are going to do to you, certain pitchers, and you can almost, like for me, if you watch me in my career, I've toe tapped, I've leg kicked, I've nose stride. I can just kind of think, and my body kind of does what my brain tells me to do, and unique things like that. That's really helped me out in my career. But also, if you get away from being who you are and not like that super aggressive that I am, then I start becoming a shell of myself. So, like, I do hit balls outside the zone. I do make contact outside the zone. So, yeah, I'm not looking to swing at a ball 3 balls outside, but also I do get hits that way. And if I try to like zone it in, me and Goldschmidt had a long conversation about this. I think you have to kind of grow up taking pitches. You have to grow up taking a lot of pitches, taking your walks in high school, college. That is not really learned at the big league level. I think you're too late at that level to really be an elite, to be an MVP type guy and be able to take balls like that. So it really messes up with my approach whenever I try to be somebody else than what I am. Like, for example, like I can do different things. I remember Kidness, I think you might remember this game. I hit 2 homers off Salazar, and I was struggling. Not bad, but I had like 5 Ks out of 6 at bats or something like that. I went in the cage and I opened my stance up and hitting these lefty breaking balls. And I was like, man, this feels amazing. I struck out my first at bat, doing my regular thing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this new stance. Man, I hit 6 homers in 5 days, I think, and just take off. And that was like my swing all year in 17 and made the All-Star team. Just listening to what my body says.
I mean, that's you just sorry, Chris. That's you just
No, you're good.
constantly. That's the warrior in you. That's you finding any way to succeed. You're going to try something different. You're going to listen to what your body's telling you, and if something's not working, you're going to find a way to make it work that day. I mean, obviously, you're just looking at you and your build. You're first off, how's the calf feeling? And secondly, how have you adjusted the way you take care of your body as you've gotten older and you realize maybe, hey, it's not so much lifting weights, it might be a little bit more stretching now.
Yeah, man. So that's funny too, because like I said, not a lot of people know much about me. But like in 16, I got traded over to Tampa, and I was DHing. And first time traded, I was like, man, I got to prove myself and things like that. Man, I woke up one day early in the year, and I couldn't sleep, like my back killing me. I was having to sleep on a hardwood floor at night. I wound up finding out I had 2 bulging discs in my back, sciatica down my leg. I got up to 230 that year because I was coming up plantar fascia the year before. So I'm going to the field every day, taking 4 pills a day, like a Scalaxin, Voltaren, pain bone stimulator after BP, and I don't miss a beat, don't miss a game, and I'm struggling. I'm hitting 190 in June, but I'm still hitting some homers or whatever. Chad Matola comes over. I get my average back up to 240 and finish with 24, but I'm hurting, like I'm miserable. Well, at the end of the year, they just like tell me to go home, no pills, nothing. And I realized like right then, like either I'm going to be done, I'm going to have surgery and never play again. And talking to Justin Morneau, he's like, dude, never have surgery, whatever. So I go full force into like the book, The Supple Leopard, Tom Brady's book, all this stuff. And I lose 30 pounds that year, get rid of all my back pain. I start doing a bunch of soft tissue work, trigger point stuff. And I made the All-Star team the next year and then the Gold Glove the next year. And I'm really getting obsessed with like the whole Tom Brady method / Kelly Starrett, the Becoming a Supple Leopard book, and just learning how to fix myself. And my career kind of took another, turn at that point, just realizing every day that you wake up, you guys know, you don't feel 100%. I might be at 50%, but I know all these different modalities, these joint manipulations, trigger point therapy, hot and cold tubs, all those different things to get me to a certain level to that hour before the game to where your mind kind of shifts and things like that. So I never judge myself when I wake up. So that's kind of like my progression with the whole body thing and just staying in shape and listening to my body and how it feels.
Yeah, that's cool. And it's working, obviously. So, and it's important for people to know about that stuff.
Mhm.
And I also wanted to see when you reflect back, your thoughts were about when you really had more adversity with the Rays after you had some success there. And then when you moved on, I remember multiple teammates back then when I spoke to them were like, man, Dickerson's going to have a chip on his shoulder after that situation too. You watch, right?
Yeah, I always had a chip on my shoulder. I mean, I had an older brother always used to hold me down, beat me up and things like that. So I always grinded from when I was really young. Just loved to compete. And, if I play you in ping pong and try to beat you, like even if I suck. And yeah, man, when I got DFA'd, I still remember that day writing stuff down, like what I felt and stuff like that. And going into that, saying I couldn't hit the high fastball is the reason why I got DFA'd or something like that. So that's the reason why I really started choking up and stuff like that. I went in top of the league, I think, that year, high fastball, to try to prove a point. And then got to win the Gold Glove, which was cool. But at the end of the year, our GM came up to me and was like, man, we would rather you try to hit a homer early in the counter, early in the game, than just get a single. I was like, man, you could have told me that back in May and not September. Yeah, I'm hitting 300, but I'm not, hitting pumps and things like that. But yeah, that definitely motivated me. It just like, it made you almost see baseball in a different light. You love the game, but then you get to the dirty business side of it and you're like, dang, man, it can make you mad and kind of have different thoughts about it too.
Hey, I got a fan question for you. New Country Song says, can you ask Corey how he and other hitters prepare for a starter that's only thrown about 120 innings or so, most of it in the low minors. So, and they're talking about tonight, right? So, and this guy throws gas. Smith Schwarber, I think. He's only pitched once, and I saw it when I was watching the game with 6 screens going on, so I didn't even say how they say his name. But dude comes up from Atlanta, and he's another one of those arms. I mean, Atlanta's got many of them, right? So how do you prepare? Because you're a great prep guy. Like, how do you figure that out when obviously they don't have any ways to show you how he is attacking the big leaguers aside from an inning or two?
They'll have his tape though, right? They'll have his last start or something.
Yeah, they'll have his tape. I always joke around with guys and say, does he have a heater down the middle? Like I'm sitting dead red heater, sometimes like make sure my timing, I'm more about like arm action. Like there's guys like Drew Pomerantz used to blow my doors off. He's throwing 94, but it feels like 98. And it would be because of his arm, like his slot, like the way he takes the ball back, how quick does it come out of his hand, things like that. That's what I'm looking at. Like, how is my rhythm matched up with him? And if I can get my rhythm down, that's where it go back to Adam Wainwright. Like I'm my best self whenever my rhythm is right and I'm on time. I can adjust to the breaking stuff. I just got to be ready for the heater. So a guy like that, you don't put any more film work in it. Like if I watch too much film, I'm like, oh, this guy's getting pounded in. He's going to pound me in. Then they might not even pound me in, but I'm thinking in. So it can really dome you up in a way, at least for me. So I'll try to keep it simple and just really look at their arm angle and see their action.
I love that. That's you and I had 2 similarities right there that I just heard you say. Does he have a fastball? Yeah. Well, then I got my approach. And if I'm right, and then it usually doesn't matter what they're throwing. And I'm hearing it with
it's
you.
usually
If I got
accidents.
my timing right, it doesn't matter what pitch or where they're throwing it. I like that because then you can just focus on yourself. You're not they're playing them up to be something they're not, or worrying about an out pitch and this count. You're just like, okay, I know if I'm going good, hands on the fastball, and stay balanced for the off speed, you got it down.
100%. Most of the time when you're like, don't swing at the high fastball, or don't chase the slider in the dirt, you're chasing the slider in the dirt. 100%. Yep. So it's like, man, just go up there and have your timing down. Rhythm and timing is hitting. That's period. I don't care if it's off a machine. If you can be rhythmic and you can be on time, and that's where like people separate themselves, because hand and eye coordination all works with your rhythm and timing. So to maximize mine, I just try to be, synced up with this guy. The one thing I do now is, does this guy have hop? Now, if this guy has hop, I'll choke up, which makes my bat flatter, which now I'm on plane longer, and I'm shorter to the ball. Now, if this guy has a sinker, got more sink, then I'll put my pinky on the knob, the barrel drops more, I'll ride that zone longer that way. So it just depends on, his fastball.
If you point the bat backwards, it's already flat and as short as you
That's
can.
true.
So let me just try it. I'm just saying.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, pointed like
Uh-oh. You might give him, hey.
Don't go down that.
I probably tried it. I've probably tried it. I guarantee you I tried it.
He's tried a lot.
I've tried it all.
Yeah.
I tried it
That's
all.
what got you to 10, though. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations, dude.
Congrats, Corey.
Thank you,
Awesome. Great to have you on, man. And yeah, congrats. Enjoy it and go get him tonight. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Appreciate that, guys.
Cheers, man.
Good
We'll see you
luck.
on the field soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
Corey Dickerson of the Washington Nationals, the vet, 10 years. So, and we'll do that all season long. We've done it with a few of the guys already this year because 10 means something in a variety of ways.
Oh, yes.
Get those benefits kicking in, the whole deal. Let's slap hands.
Let's slap hands for being like 20 days short of 10.
Or is that what you No way. Oh, we got to get you back.
Mine's like 80 something too. I'm right, almost with.
I think it might be. Yeah, it's more than 20, but it's probably right around you.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
kills me too.
I was gonna say, let's keep smiling for these guys.
Just there you go.
Burying the knife deeper.
Ah.
I feel loose today. I'm just saying.
When's that going up down the street?
Yeah. Might be the mimosa, the Tropicanas, but
Let's go. Nice glasses, dude. What are you doing?
So Okay, so when I was in Atlantic City at Borgata, where we do our shows there, it was late already. I had lost on the blackjack tables, and I'm like, should we go practice on the poker table for a little? And they're packed, and I'm looking, and there's a lot of sunglasses, just like I used to watch World
That's what you
Series of
brought it
Poker.
for?
And I was like, I'm bringing them in the back pocket just in case I sit at a table and like 8 out of 10 have sunglasses on. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to be the goop. I know how to play, but like, I'm gonna sit down with the color therapy sunglasses.
Didn't Kim Kardashian in like a celebrity poker tournament or something? She played and she wore glasses that were like mirrors.
Oh shit!
So people would see her cards.
Oh my god!
Yes.
I'm saying she didn't realize. She thought she's blocking her eyes, and so
and she's going like this.
And everyone's like,
well, also you know how poker works. It's a little flip down. No.
I mean,
flip. We've got our form.
Yeah.
We're playing in a big tournament.
Kardashian.
This guy also, by the way, it's good timing here. This guy, Todd Father, wishes he was out here. No,
I do. I'm really jealous.
We miss you, man. He's got some FOMO.
Next time.
Yeah. So we'll be playing big tournament this weekend. So watch out for Kip and me. We might be on Poker Go
Let's go,
TV
baby.
if we get past round 1. So
spread it out.
let's get going here. Thanks to everyone for joining us this whole week on FT Live. We appreciate all the guests and all the fun we had. And you can see the best of FT Live this weekend on our YouTube channel. And we will see you on Monday. I don't even know where I'll be. I think I'll be in Brooklyn on Monday. So I'm just
Be
making
careful out there,
here.
boys. Be careful out there. Some crazy stuff that goes down.
Get rid of that smog for me, Frazier. I'm in town next week. All right.
Later.